They told you the .22 long rifle was harmless, a kid's round, a plinker, something you'd never trust when your life is on the line. But the truth is, in 2025, this so-called weak cartridge has quietly become one of the most dangerous rounds you can buy today. In today's video, we're pulling back the curtain on the most dangerous .22 long rifle ammo available right now. And by the end, you'll never look at rimfire the same way again. Number 10, Gecko Semi-Auto 40 grain. Most American shooters have never even heard of this one, and that's exactly why it's on the list. The Gecko Semi-Auto .22 long rifle is a German import, designed specifically for flawless cycling in semi-automatic pistols and rifles. Unlike bulk plinking ammo that misfires or jams, Gecko engineered this round with tight tolerances and premium quality brass, giving it a reputation for reliability that rivals CCI. Performance-wise, it uses a 40-grain lead round nose, but don't be fooled by that simple design. Fired from a rifle, it clocks around 1,250 feet per second, and from a pistol, it still carries enough punch to drive 10 to 12 inches into ballistic gel. That penetration alone is dangerous in the rimfire world, but what really makes this round stand out is its consistency. Every shot is nearly identical, delivering match-like precision while still being affordable. For defensive use, the danger comes from the combination of reliability and accuracy. In testing, it cuts clean wound channels that don't rely on fragmentation or expansion, but instead on straight-line penetration and momentum. And because it's designed for semi-autos, it runs smoothly in guns that choke on cheaper American bulk brands. Price-wise, it's a little more than your standard .22, around $8 to $10 for a 50-round box when imported. But for something this reliable and this overlooked, it earns its spot as one of the most dangerous .22 long rifle rounds you can actually buy in 2025. Number 9, RWS High Velocity Hollow Point 40 grain. This one is the definition of a sleeper pick. RWS, a German manufacturer with over a century of ammunition experience, built its reputation on precision loads for Olympic shooters and hunters. But the high-velocity hollow point round shows that they can make a .22 long rifle cartridge that's not just accurate, but dangerously effective. On paper, it looks straightforward, a 40-grain copper-plated hollow point moving at around 1,260 feet per second from a rifle. But the real story comes when it hits soft tissue. Independent gel tests show rapid and violent expansion, creating wound channels you wouldn't expect from a rimfire. Even out of compact pistols, this bullet still opens up consistently, thanks to its carefully engineered hollow point cavity. That's rare in the .22 long rifle world, where expansion often fails at lower velocities. RWS also puts a premium on quality control. Each round is made with tighter tolerances than bulk American brands, meaning fewer misfires, more reliable ignition, and better accuracy shot after shot. This matters in real defensive situations, where reliability is as dangerous as raw speed. Because it's an import, it comes with a higher price tag. Expect to pay $12 to $15 for a 50-round box, which puts it closer to premium self-defense ammo than plinking fodder. But for shooters who want a round that combines European match precision with brutal terminal performance, the RWS High Velocity Hollow Point deserves its place on this list. Number 8, Aguila Interceptor 40 grain CPRM. Aguila has built a reputation for pushing rimfire cartridges harder than most competitors, and the Interceptor is a perfect example of that philosophy. Unlike lightweight, hypervelocity rounds that sacrifice mass for speed, the Interceptor sticks with a full 40-grain bullet and still manages to push it to blistering speeds. Out of a rifle, you're looking at up to 1,470 feet per second, and from a pistol, it still clears the 1,000 mark, which is no small feat for a heavy .22 long rifle load. That combination of weight and velocity is dangerous because it creates straight-line penetration that lighter bullets can't match, In ballistic gel, the interceptor consistently punches deeper than most high-velocity hollow points, retaining its shape and momentum even through barriers like denim or light wood. The copper plating reduces fouling and helps with reliable feeding, making this round a favorite in semi-autos that often struggle with underpowered loads. What really sets it apart is its predictability. Instead of relying on expansion or fragmentation, the interceptor delivers sheer kinetic damage by carrying its full mass through the target. For self-defense, that means more confidence in consistent results, especially at close ranges where accuracy and energy transfer matter most. Price-wise, it remains one of the more affordable high-performance rounds. A 50-round box often runs just $6 to $8, which makes it practical for both training and defensive storage. Dangerous because of its simplicity, the Aguila Interceptor proves that sometimes brute force beats clever design. Number 7. Winchester Super X PowerPoint 40 grain HP. When it comes to rimfire, Winchester's Super X line has been around longer than most shooters have been alive, but the 40 grain PowerPoint hollow point is one of those rounds that continues to prove why it belongs in serious conversations about dangerous .22 loads. The bullet design looks simple at first glance, but the PowerPoint has a trick built in: strategically cut notches around the hollow point. These cuts allow the copper plating to peel back on impact, forcing the lead core to expand even at moderate velocities. From a rifle, it hits around 1,280 feet per second, and from a handgun, it still retains enough speed to trigger expansion, something many other .22 rounds fail to do. In gel testing, it often penetrates 10 to 12 inches while opening up into a classic mushroom shape, leaving behind a wound channel that rivals rounds in larger calibers under ideal conditions. That consistency is what makes it dangerous. No gimmicks, no unpredictable fragmentation, just reliable expansion and penetration, shot after shot. It's also one of the most dependable feeding rounds in the rimfire world. Whether you're running a budget semi-auto pistol, a high-end target rifle, or even an older revolver, the Super X tends to cycle without complaint. Price is another strength. Boxes of 50 usually run $8 to $10, keeping it within reach for both training and defensive use. For shooters who want performance that's been quietly proving itself for decades, the Winchester Super X PowerPoint stands out as one of the most dangerous .22 long rifle rounds you can still count on for 2025. Number 6. CCI Stinger 32 grain CPHP. If there's one .22 long rifle round that has earned legendary status, it's the CCI Stinger. First introduced in the 1970s, the Stinger set a new benchmark for rimfire velocity, and even today it remains one of the fastest and most dangerous .22 cartridges you can buy. The secret lies in its design. Instead of trimming down quality, CCI engineered a longer case with a lighter 32 grain copper-plated hollow point, which allows for more powder and blistering speeds. Out of a rifle, it easily breaks 1,600 feet per second, and even from pistols it delivers incredible velocity compared to standard loads. That raw speed creates devastating energy transfer, often causing fragmentation on impact and leaving wound channels far beyond what most shooters expect from rimfire. But it's not just about power. The Stinger has also earned its place as one of the most reliable hypervelocity rounds in semi-autos. Where other lightweight bullets can misfeed or fail to cycle, the Stinger's careful engineering keeps it running smoothly in everything from Ruger 1022s to compact pistols. It's clean burning, accurate, and built with CCI's famously tight quality control. Cost is usually around $9 to $12 for a box of 50, which is reasonable considering its iconic status, and while some match shooters avoid it for being too hot in precision rifles, defensive shooters see it as a dangerous edge, a rimfire round built with speed and impact that puts it in a category of its own. Number 5. Ely Force 42 grain high velocity. Ely is a name most shooters associate with Olympic competition and precision match ammo. But the force load proves they know how to build a dangerous .22 as well. The Ely Force takes a heavier than usual 42 grain bullet and pushes it to impressive speeds, around 1,250 feet per second from a rifle, making it one of the most punishing rimfire loads available in 2025. What makes this round so dangerous is the marriage of mass and consistency. That extra bullet weight translates directly into deeper penetration and more momentum on impact, while Ely's match-grade production methods keep every cartridge nearly identical. In gel, the Force doesn't rely on hollow point expansion or fragmentation. Instead, it drives deep, maintaining its structure and transferring raw kinetic energy in a straight, destructive path. From short barrel pistols where many hypervelocity rounds lose too much speed to be effective, the Ely Force holds its own. It keeps enough velocity to matter without excessive muzzle flash or dirty fouling. For defensive use, that means reliability and predictability in real-world situations. Hunters, on the other hand, appreciate it for taking down small game with authority. Being a premium load, it's not the cheapest. Expect to pay $12 to $14 for a box of 50, but that price buys you match-grade quality with real stopping power. If you're looking for a rimfire round that blurs the line between precision, target shooting, and serious defensive use, the Ely Force is one of the most dangerous tools you can put in a .22. Number 4, Remington Golden Bullet 36 grain HP. At first glance, the Remington Golden Bullet doesn't look like it belongs on a list of the most dangerous .22 long rifle rounds. It's cheap, comes in bulk packs, and most shooters think of it as nothing more than plinking fodder. But here's where the surprise comes in. This little budget round can do far more damage than its reputation suggests. The Golden Bullet is a 36 grain copper-plated hollow point that leaves the muzzle at around 1,280 feet per second from a rifle. Nothing unusual there. But in ballistic gel tests and real hunting scenarios, a nasty tendency to expand violently and unpredictably. Instead of neat mushrooming, the bullet often fragments or folds unevenly, tearing irregular wound channels that small game hunters describe as messy and devastating. Because it's so widely available, the Golden Bullet is also one of the most likely rounds someone would actually have loaded in a defensive rimfire firearm. That accessibility, combined with its chaotic expansion, makes it especially dangerous, not because it was designed as premium self-defense ammo, but because it works in unexpected ways. Reliability can vary from gun to gun, and it's no secret that Golden Bullets sometimes leave more fouling behind than cleaner burning brands. But when you find a pistol or rifle that feeds them consistently, the performance is undeniable, and the price, a 100-round box often sells for just $10 to $13. That means training and stocking up are easy, making the round as practical as it is destructive. For a cartridge that most shooters write off as cheap stuff, the Remington Golden Bullet proves that danger doesn't always wear a premium label. Number 3, Aguila Super Maximum 30 grain LRN. If there's one round on this list that earns the word extreme, it's the Aguila Super Maximum. This cartridge doesn't play by rimfire's normal rules. Instead of settling for standard velocity limits, Aguila cranks a 30 grain lead round nose up to a blistering 1,700 feet per second. That makes it one of the fastest commercially available .22 long rounds in the world. Why is that speed dangerous? Because even without a hollow point, sheer velocity creates devastating energy transfer. Small game hunters report massive trauma and oversized exit wounds, more like what you'd expect from a much larger caliber. In ballistic gel, the Super Maximum consistently outruns its weight class, producing wound channels that lighter, slower .22 rounds simply can't replicate. But there's a trade-off. The high-pressure load isn't friendly to every firearm. Older bolt actions and budget pistols sometimes choke on it, while beefier semi-autos like the Ruger 1022 or Taurus Texar 22 handle it with ease. There's also noticeably louder muzzle crack, snappier recoil for a rimfire, and more fouling in the barrel. Even with those drawbacks, the Super Maximum remains one of the most dangerous rounds in the .22 long rifle lineup simply because of the raw energy it brings to the table. At around $9 to $11 for a box of 50, it's still affordable enough to experiment with, though once you feel that kind of performance, it's hard to go back. Number 2, CCI Velociter 40 grain HP. The Velociter is CCI's answer to the question every shooter asks: can a .22 long rifle actually deliver serious stopping power? The result is one of the most balanced and most dangerous rimfire rounds you can buy today. It fires a 40-grain copper-plated hollow point at around 1,435 feet per second from a rifle and still clears 1,000 out of most pistols. That combination of speed and weight means it doesn't just expand, it also penetrates deeply enough to matter, even through barriers like denim or light plywood. In ballistic gel, the Velociter regularly shows controlled mushrooming and straight-line penetration of 11 to 13 inches, putting it into a rare category for rimfire ammo. Hunters love it because it drops small game with authority. Defensive shooters respect it because it cycles cleanly in semi-autos, doesn't suffer from weak ignition, and keeps its accuracy consistent shot after shot. Compared to lighter, hypervelocity loads, the Velociter strikes a middle ground. It hits harder, holds together better, and leaves behind a wound channel you can actually trust. Price is usually around $10 to $12 for a 50-round box, making it a premium option without being unattainable. For shooters who want a .22 long rifle round that behaves like something bigger, the CCI Velociter is the definition of dangerous. Number 1, Federal Punch 29 grain flat nose. Federal didn't set out to make a plinking round with this one. The Punch was engineered from the ground up as a self-defense cartridge, designed to make the .22 long rifle viable in situations where lives are on the line. That alone makes it the most dangerous .22 round you can buy in 2025. Instead of going with a hollow point, Federal chose a 29 grain flat nose projectile. Why? Because in testing, hollow points often fail to expand from short barrels. The Punch solves that by focusing on something more reliable: straight, crushing penetration. Fired from a compact pistol like the Ruger LCP-2 Light Rack, it consistently drives 10 to 12 inches into ballistic gel, right in line with FBI standards for defensive ammo. That's something almost no other rimfire load can claim. Velocity is tuned specifically for short barrels, averaging around 1,070 feet per second from pistols and faster from rifles. The casing is nickel-plated, improving reliability, corrosion resistance, and smooth feeding in semi-autos. More importantly, the cartridge was built to handle the ignition challenges that plague many .22 rounds. The result is dependable cycling where it matters most. At about $9 to $11 for a box of 50, it isn't the cheapest rimfire option, but you're not buying this for casual shooting. You're buying it because it was purpose-built to be dangerous, a rimfire cartridge that makes self-defense a real possibility. When it comes to combining engineering, reliability, and threat-stopping power, the Federal Punch stands at the top of the list. Now, if you want to push your knowledge even further, don't stop here. Check out our next video, where we reveal the most shocking .22 long rifle loads ever made, and decide for yourself which one deserves a place in your kit.